Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we will go over my expectations for AMC stock this upcoming week. This upcoming week is the first trading week of 2024, and there's something that I think we're probably going to see pretty obviously start this week that could last for a period of time. And I want to share my thoughts with you on this. Now, I might be right, I might be wrong. I'm obviously not a financial advisor. Share your own opinions down below in the comment section. But with that being said, I think that's enough to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse on what we're going to talk about here in this video. We are also going to discuss more of the medium term for AMC as well, not just this week's prediction. So hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys have not done so already. Thank you for joining me today. And let's get into it. So AMC stock is sitting at a point here where we've just seen a lot of dilution. We've just seen a lot of unnecessary dilution, I would say. The dilution that we've seen lately really doesn't make too much sense because it's destroyed AMC stock. Even, as of recently, from November, going from $11.50 down to the low of $5.93, still sitting at $6.13. I mean, it's just not, you're just not in a good place right now, right? And from November, let's call it early November, what has the broader markets done? I mean, literally, like as soon as AMC announced this dilution, the markets just took off and really haven't looked back. And this was probably the worst timing that AMC could have diluted us, because how it went was AMC, they had great earnings, phenomenal earnings, nothing bad you could have said, another profitable quarter, money in the bank for AMC. AMC cited one big potential risk, and that was the writers-actors strike taking longer to get resolved than what we previously expected. What happened? It got resolved literally 2 hours after the earnings call. And then what did we wake up to the next day? Adam Aron was looking to sell 40 million more shares of AMC. And that just crushed AMC. I mean, from $11.50 down to $6. AMC would likely be in the 20s right now if we did not get that last round of dilution. I think Adam Aron understands this. I think the executives with AMC understand this, that they cannot continue to dilute shareholders at this current moment in time, right? You just can't, okay? At $6 per share, you can't. One, it doesn't make any sense because if you dilute 40 million shares worth, right? Do some rough numbers here. At $6 per share, you're going to collect $240 million. If you have, $5 billion in debt that will mature here in the next 5 years, $240 million, let's say that drops AMC stock to, $4 per share. In all reality, that's likely what would happen. 40 million times 4, you're going to get $160 million. It's not even a drop. It is not even a drop in the bucket paying off your debt. And you have your stock at $4 per share. So you just can't dilute shareholders at this point, right? But let's say theoretically Adam Aron comes out and says, hey, we're not going to dilute shareholders until at least the second half of 2024, but we might not dilute shareholders at all until at least Q4. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Let's say AMC stock is $30 per share. Theoretically, when they go to dilute shareholders again, let's say that drops the stock to $25 per share. Okay, so then if you dilute 40 million shares at $25 a share, you are going to collect $1 billion. That makes a sizable difference in paying off $5 billion worth of debt. Then you could actually make the argument that AMC diluting shareholders could possibly be a good thing for AMC. Now, yeah, who knows, right? But diluting shareholders at $25 per share is a lot different than $6 per share. So I think it's only a matter of time before we do get a definitive announcement from Adam Aron that we will not see more dilution in AMC stock. It's only a matter of time, in my personal opinion. So starting here with the medium term for AMC, the next 3 months or so, I expect we will get that announcement. And I think AMC stock will start to make its way into the high teens and the 20s, right? Could go higher than that. Obviously, we're going to have other catalysts. We're going to have some movies going to theaters. We are going to get Q4 earnings as well. This will probably be some point in February when we actually get those earnings. So yeah, there's other catalysts as well, but that's going to be the big one that likely sends AMC stock higher. Now, the other dynamic of our markets right now is one I've talked about relentlessly here on the channel as of recently. And it's simple. There's $6.2 trillion in money market funds. The average hedge fund has underperformed the S&P over the last 2 years. 75% of funds underperformed in 2022. 65% of funds underperformed in 2023. You cannot underperform again in 2024. You just can't do it. So when there's $6.2 trillion of money in money market funds, and it's clear the most appropriate thing to do is to chase interest rate sensitive names that are still trading at almost record low valuations. I mean, you are sitting here right now with a massive opportunity on your hands to see capital come back into our markets, to come back into interest rate sensitive names. And that is also going to help boost AMC stock. And I don't see any way that it couldn't help boost AMC stock, right? How could it not? Now, if we're getting dilution at the time, well, that's obviously a different story. Dilution is going to overtake the effects of any kind of, capital coming back into our markets. That's why I think, Adam Aron ultimately is going to not dilute shareholders for a period of time. But I've seen crazier things happen. I don't think Adam Aron should have done the last round of dilution, in which they did. So don't be surprised if this video is ultimately not correct and we just get more and more dilution. And then at that point, AMC will go bankrupt, right? If Adam Aron does not commit to shareholders, he will not dilute shareholders for a period of time, AMC stock will 100% go bankrupt. Why? Because they will never be able to pay off $5 billion of debt if they do not get the share price higher and dilute shareholders at higher share prices. That's the simple fact. And I don't know if I have to be the one to tell Adam Aron that, or if he has other lawyers, financial advisors, whoever, let's say experts in the field, telling him the same thing as well. But you literally just don't have a choice here. And I think that's why I'm so confident that Adam Aron will not dilute shareholders again, at least will, commit to a period of time to really not see dilution. And what better time here than when rates are expected to fall 7 times in 2024? Yeah, the estimate is currently 7 times we will see rate cuts in 2024. And the odds are 38.6%. The odds of 7 rate cuts at 35.7%. So it's pretty clear you're not going to see less than that, right? I mean, odds are you could start to price in 8, 9, 10 rate cuts, 50 basis point rate cuts at some meetings, probably later in 2024, if inflation continues to fall or the economy does start to look a little bit worse from here. Now, we will have some data coming out this week, so that'll obviously move things around as well. Now, specifically for AMC stock in this upcoming week, and I hope I'm being very clear here, over the next 3 months or so, I do think AMC stock is going to make its way into the 20s or the $30 range. Maybe it takes 6 months. I mean, who knows? 3 to 6 months. And that really only happens as long as we get a commitment to not dilute shareholders. If we don't get a commitment for that, well, I mean, we might not hit $20 or $30 per share. If Adam Aron is just silent and says nothing, well, that's a little bit of a problem. But here for this week, I am expecting capital to come back into our markets, and I do think this week is going to be a pretty bullish week overall for stocks. I could be wrong, But that's what seems likely to me. It wouldn't surprise me if money actually flows out of big tech names as well and into small and mid-cap stocks. So it wouldn't surprise me if the broader indexes do fall a little bit this week or maybe even trade sideways, and a stock like AMC actually performs pretty well. Now, if we take a look at the Stonko tracker data, I expect these numbers are going to jump up quite a bit. You do have calls in the money of 6,600, calls out the money of 44,000, puts in the money 10,000, puts out the money about 18,000. So wouldn't be surprised here if you do see the numbers change. And as we looked at in the last video, the let's see, the option chain for this week has a lot of activity around the 650 call, $7 call, 750 call. All in all, these three strikes put together is over 3 million shares market makers would have to go out and buy worth of AMC stock, about 3 million different shares, and that would have a positive impact to AMC stock as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if we could actually see a run into the sevens, potentially as high as 750 in this upcoming week. Now, in the grand scope of things, the 50-day moving average for AMC is at $7.81 per share. That's the level in which I'm targeting, which, I mean, on a percentage basis, that would be somewhat impressive. That would be to get to 750 from here, that would be a gain of about 22%. So, I mean, it's impressive. That's a good week, but it's nothing crazy for AMC nonetheless. Could you exceed that? Could you enter the $8 range? That would be up 30+% move this week. That is certainly possible, although I'm not going to put that as my base case scenario. That is a possibility. Now, if all goes bad this week with the economic data, let's say the economic data signals we're heading into recession or something similar to that, a really low growth environment period, maybe markets start to price in more rate cuts, and maybe the just jobs report number on Friday comes out under 100,000. That would, not be great as well. AMC stock could easily fall back into the $5 range. 550 is a level I want to be watching for pretty closely here. I think that's where the downside just gets, pretty extreme at that point. You're already in extreme kind of pessimism here for AMC, but $5.50 would be a really good opportunity, in my personal opinion, to get some longer term options. Considering, everything we talked about here in this video, the situation is going to have to get really bad for AMC. You're going to have to see Adam Aron make a huge mistake and dilute shareholders again to see the stock fall under 550. Under 5, and then ultimately into the 4s. I think 550 really at $6 per share, the risk to reward makes a lot of sense here, and I think that's why we have seen a lot of new position taking from some hedge funds, institutions, and banks as of recently. So just to be clear, over the next 3 to 6 months, I think AMC stock can break into the 20s, if not the 30s. Here for this week, I think AMC stock can hit a high of $7.50 per share. On a really good week, if things just go really good, then AMC stock could break into the 8s, ultimately about 850. That would be an impressive rally. Now, if we get above the 50-day moving average, that could set us up for a larger move back to $11 per share, but I don't think we get a move that high unless we get a commitment from Adam Aron to not dilute shareholders. If that happens this week, then all bets are off the table, and AMC stock could go much higher than $8 per share, but I don't know what Adam Aron's thinking or what he's planning on doing. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me know your expectations for AMC stock down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.